Hey, hi. So, I'm doing a Doctor Who video, as you can see by the shirt, because my friend wanted me to wear a shirt yesterday, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna wear a shirt, I'm lazy, so I'm wearing my shirt today. It has the 10th Doctor on it, and it says, Alonzi, and yeah, because I love 10, he's a babe. Also, he's in Harry Potter, so that's pretty cool. Because Britain has, there's 10 actors in England, so there's that, yeah. So, yeah, to start off this episode of me doing weird stuff today, as requested, I'm going to sing the Doctor Who theme song. Do 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 do. Alright, so that was pretty awesome, huh? Great special effects. Yeah, I've been working on those. I'm really very invested. You know you've done it before. Like everyone who watches Doctor Who has done this at least one point in their lives. So, yeah. First question. If you could make your own sonic device out of anything, what would you make it out of? That is a very good question. My first thought is screwdriver, just because it's like, it's a sonic screwdriver. What? Sonic screwdrivers are cool. I really like 11's screwdriver just because you can, flip it up, It's really cool. It reminds me of those little communicators from Star Trek. You can just be like, Scotty, beam me up. And it's really, really dramatic. My second thought is to say, a musical instrument, just to be funny. But, there's not really... Because they're already sonic, what can you do with... You can't really achieve anything with a sonic ukulele or whatever. So, there's that. It'd be cool to have a sonic book. Because, you could just be, you could be, walking around, reading, and then someone could be like, hey, what are you reading, you nerd? And you'd just be like, book! And then you can, it'd be really awesome. Because you could, take things out of the book and use them. It'd be very handy. For example, Sonic Book. Be reading, disaster strikes. There's oh jeez, there's a Dalek in the background. Oh god. Stupefy! And you can, just at them, That'd be awesome. Also, Prisoner of Azkaban is probably my favorite one of the Harry Potter series. Yeah, so, Sonic Book. I think I'd want a Sonic Book. Plus, then you can just, stick your headphones in it and listen to it on audio. Be very useful. Second question. Which Doctor do you prefer to be with Rose, 9 or 10? 10. Both? Can I say both? Because I really like both. I don't know. I feel like the dynamic between her and 10 was more of a, playful thing. Just because they have they were closer in age, But the dynamic between her and 9 was really interesting, and I'm very sad that they only had the one season to build on it, because it would have been I'd have loved to see more, because he was always so serious, but then there's, those couple of moments where she's there, and he, in The Doctor Dances, he just, starts dancing, and it's look at that precious baby, Rose, look what you have achieved. It's glorious, and so, that would have been really nice. I wish they could have had more time with 9 and Rose to develop that relationship, especially after the finale episode when he regenerates after kissing her, because honestly, I was really looking forward to having the episode after that, having her be like, oh god, what just happened? I can't remember anything, and he'd be like, we totally didn't kiss or do it, you know? That'd be crazy. Who would do that? Like, it's not like I want to kiss you or anything, and she'd be like, oh yeah, try me. And then they'd make out, and yeah. So, really like both. Just, I don't really have a preference because technically they're the same person. Well, technically they're not, but you know what I mean. And so, as much as I love them both, I wish there was, like, more of her with 9, just to see how that relationship would develop. And, yeah. Really, I just wish there was more of Rose in general. Like, I wish she was just a constant... Like, I wish they had a spin-off that was just Rose with all the doctors. Like, you replace every companion with Rose, because I love Rose, and I would just love to see her flirting with the doctor all the time. I feel like that would be a fantastic show. So, yeah. Plus, I kind of identify with her on a deep emotional level, because we're both, like, slackers. And we just kind of live at home with our parents when we should be out getting a job. Well, I guess she does have a job. No, she doesn't have a job, because her shop got destroyed in the first episode of the reboot, didn't it? I don't know. But yeah, we're both kind of the teenager, living at home, mooching off your parents, likes older men. Yeah. Any other... I think that's about it for now. I'd love to see a Doctor Who Supernatural crossover, just because I think it would be hilarious to watch Sam and Dean and maybe Castiel and Bobby and, like, whoever else is in it. I'm only on season 6, so I'm not up to date. Please don't give me any spoilers. Please, I will hunt you down and cry all over you, just, like, projectile sobbing onto you if you give me any spoilers. But I think it'd be hilarious to watch whatever character is available on the TARDIS freaking out, just like, oh god, what's going on? And then, you know, they see a monster and they're like, oh, we have to kill it. And then the Doctor would be like, oh no, that's my BFF. What are you talking about? We go way back. And then I just think that'd be a really funny little thing to watch. I'd also love a Doctor Who Steam-Powered Giraffe crossover, because robots, and they just kind of seem to go together really well. And I think that'd be great because, especially with Hatchworth, or, like, the John, just, like, and Rabbit, definitely Rabbit, because I can totally see, like, Rabbit and Hatchworth and the Doctor just running around and getting into shenanigans, and the Spine's just like, stop! You're gonna blow up the world, like, we just saved this 10 minutes ago, what are you doing? Stop, please! So, yeah, I think that'd be cool. Plus, he'd be, like, you know, this tall, and everyone would be, like, this tall. So it'd be fun to watch him just kind of, like, grab him by the scruff of the neck and be like, no! Stop that! Behave! Yeah. Star Trek Doctor Who crossover would be amazing. I would love to see Spock and the Doctor get into a conversation, and he would just, like, trick him into being illogical. Be like, yaha, nah, yaha, nah, yaha, nah, yaha, oh crap, you know. That would be really fun. I think that was about it for now. Call in this. Alright, so my favorite scenes in Doctor Who are probably, I'm gonna do like a top 10 or whatever, how many there are, in no particular order, because they're all equally fantastic. You know, you can't rank them, because it's like, you know, you can't really like anyone else more than you do in this show, because they're all just equally fantastic in different ways, so, like, you can't really compare them. So, I'd say going in, like, chronological order, my first favorite scene is in the first season finale with 9 and Rose, when she's looked into the heart of the TARDIS and her eyes are all burning up and she goes, "Oh, my head," and he says, "I think you need a doctor," and they kiss and it's just, there's like lights everywhere and it's sparkly and it is like the most perfect, beautiful sci-fi kiss ever. And like you're just, I was kind of in tears, like, yes! Yes! Finally! Yes! Thank you! Oh my god! Ah! I was so happy to see it happen, and I'm pretty sure everyone else was when they saw it, so that was pretty great. So that's my first favorite in chronological order. Second favorite would be when she was with David Tennant and they're on new Earth or whatever it is, like new to the 16th power Earth, and Lady Cassandra's consciousness is in her, and then she just ends up like grabbing him and making out with him hardcore, and her hands are all ruffling his hair, and then she just kind of like leaves, and his voice cracks afterwards. So that was really, anytime anyone kisses the Doctor is like a really fun scene for me. Pretty sure these are all gonna be kiss scenes actually, that now that I think about it, because they're either really intensely emotional and you want to cry, or they're just downright hilarious, or they're like a mix of both. So that's another one of my favorite. When Amy tried to kiss him in like the second or third episode of her after she was introduced to the show, that was pretty funny. Just because like the whole time she's making fun of him for being this huge dork, and he's kind of like almost like a grandpa figure, like that seems like what she's been telling him he is to her, and she's like, "Oh, you're such a weirdo, you got your suspenders and your bow tie, you're so dumb, blah 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 blah," and then at the end she's just kind of like, "Oh my god, this is so hot, kiss me," and he's like, "Ah, what is happening?" So that was really funny, especially watching his hands like freak out, and he's like, "I don't know where to put these, what do I do, what's going on?" That was very entertaining. The Rings of Akhenaten, I think, with Clara. It's from this past, like season 7, I think they're on now. Whatever it was. Clara and 11, and he's talking to this, like, all-powerful, angry god that demands sacrifices and everything, and he just starts screaming at the top of his lungs about all the amazing things that he's seen. And eventually, like, halfway through, you can just see tears pouring down his face because it's so intense. And it's just, like, you really get a sense of the magnitude and the scope of all the things that he's experienced, and just, like, from the highest high to the lowest low, sort of, and like, all of the happiness, all of the sadness that he's been through, and it just kind of brings him to his knees. So that is, like, a really... To me, that's one of my favorite, because it's just watching Matt Smith be an amazing actor, for one. And then it's also watching the Doctor, like, who you thought was just sort of becoming this dorky, pompous idiot who runs around and saves people and commits genocide, and he, like, really sort of owns up to it, and it's this very cathartic moment for him when he just kind of starts bawling as he realizes all of the things that he's been through, and still is going to go through, because, he's theoretically never going to die. So, I thought that was a very beautiful moment in the show. That was the fourth one, I think. I'll do top 5 favorites, and so my last favorite, chronological order, not saying that it's, like, my least favorite, it's actually very high on the favorite scale, I think these are all equally high, is in I think it's called The Whispermen. It's the last, or no, is it the name of the Doctor? It might be the name of the Doctor. It's the one where Dr. Simeon comes back, and it's, he goes to his grave, and River's there the whole time, and you don't think that he can hear her. Just, like, that whole, everything about River in that episode is my favorite, because, like, you can just see, like, there are moments when you can see how much it hurts him not to pay attention to her, and then after watching, like, 2 seasons or 3 seasons or whatever it is of him not really reciprocating her feelings, I guess, is one way to put it. Like, you see her and she's all sort of, like, she is smitten as a kitten, you can tell, and she tries to hide it and be playful and, like, a little girl and blah 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 and flirty and things like that, you know. She tries to make it seem like it's no big deal, but you can tell that she is totally in love with him, and that tears her up sometimes because, you know, half the time she's in prison for killing him, which never actually happened, and, like, you know, that would really screw someone up. But then, in the last episode, especially when he kisses her and he says, "I can always hear you," it's just, like, seeing him acknowledge her in sort of as an equal in a way, and, like, seeing the representation of their relationship in a new way, and seeing him describe, I guess, seeing him acknowledge that he does reciprocate her feelings, very much so, but he's sort of afraid to show it, and then I thought that was a really amazing moment. So, I really love that. Really, I like all the emotional things. My favorite episodes are tending to be, like, the really creepy ones, or the really sad ones, or the really creepy sad ones. So, there's that to consider. I really liked, the Rebel Flesh arc with the whole dynamic between Amy and the Doctor and then the Flesh Doctor, and how she's just, like, watching her relationship with him develop, sort of. I thought that was really interesting, and definitely in the God Complex, when they find, I don't know if it's her room or it's his room, it could be either one, you know, because it works for either one, but there's a little baby Amy watching out the window and waiting for the Doctor, and he just kind of takes her and looks at her and he's like, "I am a horrible person, and you have made me out to be this glorious fairy godfather type of thing, and I'm really not, and one of these days I'll probably get you killed, and I don't want that to happen, so I need you to..." Like, he kind of just tells her that she should hate him, and she's like, "Well, I can't do that," and so that was a really nice, pivotal moment, in my opinion. Also, in The Angels Take Manhattan, I really liked that. Like, that entire episode was a beautiful, beautiful episode. Because, like, for so many reasons, especially because of Amy's development, like, you don't really notice it until you go back and watch, and you can just pinpoint, oh my god, she has grown up so much. Like, in the beginning, she's just kind of she's basically a teenager. Like, she may not be age-wise a teenager, but that's sort of where she is mentally, I guess. And she's just kind of messing around with Rory, like, da-da-da-da-da, and then, like, going back and watching it, you can see her grow up, and then by the time she leaves in The Angels Take Manhattan, she's a mother, essentially. Like, she's a wife and mother, and you can see it, like, in her eyes just when she says goodbye to him, and it's amazing. Not to mention the whole River Doctor thing in that is also really neat, because it shows, like, a different side of their relationship that you hadn't seen before, when she gets really mad at him for using his regeneration energy to fix her wrist after she broke it to get away from the Weeping Angel. Because, like, first of all, there's sort of his dark side that he has when he gets freaked out and he yells at her and tells her that she needs to find a way to get out without breaking the Angel's wrist, or her wrist. So, she breaks her wrist, and then doesn't tell him, so that's, like, this really sort of dark side to their relationship that I thought was very interesting. And then she slaps him for fixing it, and then she explains to Amy why she did it, and it's just, like, this really intense... I don't want to say abusive, because it's not abusive, but it's, like, it's a very dark aspect of their relationship that I thought was really interesting to look at. Yeah, so the whole point of this rant was because someone requested that I reenact my favorite Doctor Who episode, and I don't really have the means to reenact any of those, but I will do my best to reenact one that isn't necessarily my all-time favorite, but is one that I highly enjoy, and I have the resources to do it, so yeah. Have fun watching me make a fool of myself. Okay, Austin wants to know, if you were the Doctor's new companion and he asked you where you wanted to go, what would you tell him? That's a really good question, and well, I think I'm gonna open my window, see if the lighting works better. 1 minute. Is that better? That's kinda better? Is that better? That's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Sort of felt like I was in the Batcave before it was really dark. If I was the Doctor's new companion, that's a really good question. I'm very tempted to say, like, Victorian London. Just because it would be really awesome. And I'm also tempted to just say, like, you know, surprise me, Doctor, because he knows a lot more about space and time than I do. I don't know. I think it'd be really neat to go back, like, before Western expansion and look at sort of, like, Native American societies and stuff like that, or, like, Mayan societies, or the Dark Ages. I would love to visit the Dark Ages, but of course all of that is, like, fraught with danger because of, like, human sacrifice and plagues and all this stuff, and it'd probably interfere a lot with history if there were, like, 2 white people that showed up hundreds of years before Christopher Columbus, or the Spanish. So there's that to consider, so that probably wouldn't be a very good idea. But the whole concept of, like, religions and societies before the influence of Christianity in Europe and, like, Anglo-Saxon beliefs and societies is really interesting to me. Just because they're, like, so different from everything that I've grown up around, I guess. I think that sounds really just very amazing to learn about. Victorian London is, like, you know, default because they have cool clothes and stuff. I think it'd be cool to go to, like, another planet. I'd love to go to another planet. Really, I think, like, I don't know, really what I'd want most if I did meet the Doctor, I wouldn't really want to go on, like, this huge quest with him. I would just like to have him available to call if I needed, like, some time to chill, and, like, especially during the school year, because I would get really stressed out about assignments and things, and it's like, I don't mind having to do it. I just wish that I had, like, a day where I didn't have to worry about anything. Like, I don't have to worry about taking a shower, or getting up the next day, or doing homework, or this show that I want to watch, or this book that I want to read. Like, I don't want to worry about any of that. So I think it'd be really nice if I could just sort of call the Doctor and be like, hey, Doctor, I'm really stressed out. Can you pick me up? And I would just kind of run amok in the TARDIS. Because I think if he took me anywhere, it would sort of spiral horribly out of control. And then there's, like, no good way to end that. So, yeah, there's that. So, yeah, I think if I was the Doctor's companion, I would just want to, like, explore the TARDIS, because they've never really gotten into that in the show that I know of, except for Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, but that was more of the technical stuff than, like, the actual rooms. So I think that would be very interesting to get into, and I would love to explore the TARDIS sometime. Yeah.
There's a strange man in my bedroom. Anything could happen. No. doctor. This whole new Earth thing is so romantic.
Okay, Devin wants me to say come along pond in a British accent, which I don't think I've ever tried to do before. So I'll do my best. I'll probably edit this heavily later on so I can get rid of all the embarrassing material. Come along, pond.